deal from Benghazi getting into the hands of the Syrian rebels?
That didn't happen.
The 15,000 Stinger missiles?
No, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Why would you think such a thing? Somebody is really not informing you well.
Tosh Plumley of the CIA said that the 15,000 Stinger missiles got into the hands of the Syrian.
Yes, and he also said pigs fly and the sun comes up in the west. Sure.
On blackmail. Oh, yes, absolutely. You mentioned McCain. And what do they got on this guy? I mean, obviously, he's blackmailed 3 ways from Sunday. They know he was singing like a canary to his North Vietnamese captors. For 6 months, he was giving operational schedules for U.S. flights, attack flights into North Vietnam. He also was responsible for the terrible fire on the USS Forrestal that killed, over 200 naval personnel. And he was the first guy taken off because they knew he was responsible because of his hotshot antics. They called him Johnny Wet Start because he would flame his engine out as a form of hazing.
All right, so sandwiched between those two experts, we had the clip with the Nolan report where they brought up Tosh Plumley, and that's what McCain had to say to that. Please continue with your statements on that, and then let's move into the latest on Benghazi, the latest on Gary Webb, CIA drug trafficking with Tosh Plumley. Tosh?
Okay, so after that statement, I was going to, number one, I've never had anything against McCain. I'm not a conspiracy or wherever he did this, he did that, so like that. In fact, at one time, I had a lot of respect for him. But I saw after he got in and the colleagues that he worked with, special interest took over. Whatever happened, I lost a lot of respect for him. That statement right there, knowing that this information had already been vetted and was before the fact, as much as a year and a half, that those missiles and that hardware was being pilfered or given to the radical factions that eventually become ISA. Now, they built an army within 2 years with our weapons and some of the Russian weapons. They didn't overrun all these bases. I have one question about overrunning a base. Anybody that's ever served in a hot spot in the country knows that the first thing you do when you're overrun, you get rid of all the paperwork, and you damn well get rid of all the weapons if you got to blow them up. So that wasn't done. It wasn't done by the Iraqis as they moved out. And also the other part of those weapons over there that was being sent to the Middle East, they were not monitored. In other words, according to the Direct Commercial Sales and the Foreign Energy Report, to make it legal in order to ship those weapons, they're supposed to be monitored at all times to make sure that they do not get into the ISA hands, right? There is a violation. There is a failure right there. Point one, the weakest link in the chain. That's the failure. We did not monitor those weapons. Now, whether it was a conspiracy to arm these people, I don't know. I don't get into conspiracies. I'm trying to stay strictly on the fact was that the information came from NATO through our intelligence community, passed up through proper channels, that these weapons were getting in radical hands. Ambassador Stevens found out about this. He had a contact that could buy back, quote, some of the Stinger missiles. He sent dispatches to Washington, D.C., and I don't care what they say up there, many dispatches, he and others, and even some NATO people, and some people that was working with the French, also confirmed those reports to Washington, D.C., to the U.S. State Department, and they sat on it. And that actually told the operatives on
Tosh, I don't want to have a conspiracy theory here. Hold on one second. Hold on one second.
Number one, it didn't go in with them.
Your Skype cut out right when you got into the new information. You've never gone this far. Your Skype cut out for about 20 seconds right when you got into the confirmation that this was happening and they sat on it. Your audio cut out. Please repeat.
Okay. This information from the intelligence community and the undercover operatives that work with NATO and other sources inside the Middle East that had put their lives on the line to gather that intelligence, passed it through proper channels to Washington, D.C., the current sitting administration, and also to some of the senators that was supposed to be monitoring what's going on. That information was on more than one from multiple sources written and sent to the State Department complaining about what Ambassador Stevens had said, that he had an opportunity through sources to buy back the Stinger missiles, or some of the Stinger missiles. So the administration came out and said the intelligence community's information was totally wrong. You've had some people from the Pentagon. This information came from the Pentagon. This information was leaked by retirees that had worked the operation as much as 4 years ago. They were concerned about the weapons being lost and getting in the wrong hands. They are the very people that said that somebody was training people in Jordan and in Turkey. That's why the Turks don't want to play with us too much, because it's going to expose this. Those documents, those letters, those asking, what do we do? The information on memos was sent to, quote, this administration.
Stay there. This is incredible. And you're listening to one of the main Iran-Contra witnesses, ladies and gentlemen. Stay there. To Tosh Plumlee. We'll be right back. Everything that Tosh Plumlee 2 years ago began to talk about, he came out and said, I'm not like the others. I'm not going to be a coward. I'm not going to go along. I've talked to all these senior people, NATO, Pentagon, you name it, and they say it's these missiles. Well, that's what Schaefer was saying right at the time. And then they called him in and screamed at him and a bunch of stuff and told him, don't go back on that show. He still comes on. He's the guy that ran the anti-Al-Qaeda bin Laden unit. Well, now it's all come out. So they changed the name of Al-Qaeda to ISIS to confuse everybody, Al-Qaeda in Iraq. And now Tosh Plumlee's here, and he's going to be with us at least 20 minutes into the next hour. Then I'll go to your calls. We have another guest joining us. But I hope Tosh gets into some of the stuff that was relayed to me through the reporters that were talking to him, and why he's pretty concerned for his life right now, because obviously even knowing this information is not good for my health. So I'm sure he's going to talk about it. I'm not trying to push him to, but if he's got a reason not to, please tell me. But it's pretty dangerous stuff. And it's just par for the course where this civilization society have gone. We're going to go to him here in just a moment. Before I go any further, we are listener supported. We try to sell the highest quality water filters like ProPure with 10% off promo code WATER, with the InfoWars Life products, high quality Survival Shield Nascent Iodine for boosting your body's natural defenses, Super Male Vitality. The DNA Force, I believe, from the literature and the research, is the most powerful for boosting your immune system, and it's just really amazing. Because you want to boost your immune system, not just deal with something once you have it. InfoWarsLife.com, a true nutraceutical DNA Force. You've heard the rave reviews from listeners on Oxy Powder, you name it. Try out the whole family of InfoWarsLife.com products, from Survival Shield X2 to Super Female Vitality, Fluoride Shield, you name it. Silver Bullet, Colloidal Silver, Lung Cleanse, all of it. Available at InfoWarsLife.com. Tosh, this is a short segment coming up, long segment after that. But I know you were talking about, you just did your job, you checked all these sources, you've been doing flights, as we speak, you're talking to people, it all comes out to be accurate. McCain makes fun of you, attacks you. Obviously, the intelligence community knows if Al-Qaeda gets stingers, they're going to shoot down airplanes. That's going to be a big issue. They want to stop it, not just to be good guys, but so they don't get the blame. And then why would the government, why would Obama, why would the State Department think that this wouldn't blow back on them and they could just have Stevens killed and cover it up?
Because they're incompetent and they have no idea what they're messing with, and they have no idea how to run this war. And they put people in strategic positions that are not qualified, and therefore we have what they call intelligence failures. What I'm saying, it's not an intelligence failure, it's a political failure at the highest levels. We have no leadership, we have no direction, we have absolutely no plan. Now, you mentioned about the Pentagon. Some of my sources are friends of, hell, some of them are the children of some of the people that I flew with way back when. So I do have a little bit of a lineage of a contact, but it's very important for me to make sure that I get my dots in the right places, because character assassination is out there in the wings just waiting for me to screw up. So now back to if you remember around the time when we had some of the people from the Pentagon and the intelligence community coming forward trying to tell the American people.
Keep it right there. I'm sorry. We had to go to break. The breaks are all at the end and the start of the hours. We're back in 60, 70 seconds. We'll go right to you. Tosh Plumlee's our guest. Tell friends and family, tune in. This is a huge whistleblowing.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system or call 1-888-253-3139.